Hello everyone and welcome to Witches of the Moon. My name is Jen and I'm your Tuesday hostess. Now this week we are talking about spirit guides and animal totems, and I will use that term for this video. Although Native Americans, I do believe, consider them to be animal allies more than a totem. But for this video purpose we will use animal totem. Now, before we were born, there was a spirit or a person who lived on this earth at one point in time, or maybe they didn't live on this earth at one point in time, that in order to learn more lessons and to be able to level up, if you wish, a little sooner, they chose a person to be with them for their entire life, to be their guide. You've heard the term guardian angel, and many times when you see people who have been in a really bad wreck who should have died, we always say their guardian angel was with them. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about when I'm referring to a guardian angel. Now when it comes to spirit guides, there are many that we can have. They can be from someone that we know or someone that we knew in the past. It could be someone that is related to us but we've never met. It could be someone that has never walked this earth. There's a lot of different things. It could be a god, it could be a goddess, it could be an ascended master. An ascended master, for those of you who may or may not know, that could be Buddha, it could be Jesus, it could be any number of different beings. We can also work with, as I said, angels. We can work with fairies. The sky's the limit. Now, like I said, I'm going to use the word animal totem. And when it comes to those, it could be any animal. Now, it doesn't have to be an animal that is still living. It could be something that was living at one point in time, such as dinosaurs, or it could also be a unicorn or a Pegasus, that kind of thing. So, and really those energies, when it comes to totem animals, those types of energies is just for us to, they help us, just as spirit guides help us. They help us in many different ways. And some of those ways might be, and you know, that has to do with our own path. It could be that they're going to help protect us, or there's a lesson that we need to learn. And one of the greatest ways to learn those lessons is to really study that animal or study that creature, whichever you choose to use. Now, just as guides, the animals, the totem animals let us know in various different ways that they're around. And we can also have more than one. Not saying that we have them all at one time, although we might, but you know, we might have more than one at various different times in our life that come and go. There might be one or two that stays with us for a lifetime, just as we have a spirit guide that stays with us for a lifetime. But then again, may not. In my case, two of my animals, my totems, one of them is a wolf, and actually I have two. One is a white, one is a black. The white sits on my right side, the black sits on my left side. And then I also have the crow or the raven. And crows and ravens, well, of course there's other birds that tend to follow me everywhere, but crows and ravens really seem to appear wherever I'm at. When I was in Tennessee and there were fires going on, there were crows every morning that would literally squawk outside my window until I went outside and, you know, saw them, and then they would fly away. And one morning I was still inside, I hadn't gone outside, I was sitting in the bedroom, actually I was laying in bed and I was reading, and the crow literally sat right beside my window and was making such a fuss that I got up and I went outside and I saw them, and just as I went out there, I actually saw them take off from the ground and go all the way up into the tree, which was really cool. And the day that we were leaving, the crows did not appear at all. So that was really interesting, and there's been other instances too with crows and just different birds that seem to like to be around me all the time. So for that, you know, I learned more about the birds and the animals that are around me. And, you know, every month or if you look at the Native American wheel of the year, there is a different animal for different parts of the year. And it may go from like January 1st to February the 15th. And I'm not saying, I don't know the dates offhand, but it goes something like that. It'll be one particular animal, and then, you know, it'll start with another animal in February and then go until March. And I like to work with those energies of those animals in addition to my other animals that are always around me. And that's something that you can do too. But like I said, one of the great ways is to actually learn about the animal and learn about their natural habitat. You know, what do they do in the wild? Don't just read what you know, read about the, I mean, it's great to read about the animal, don't get me wrong. You could read about the animal, but also, if you can, watch it in its natural habitat. You know, if it's birds and they're in your area, then you can watch them. Or if you can go to a zoo, you can kind of, you know, spend some time with them and get to see them and see how they act and interact with other animals. As far as spirit guides, you know, they let themselves known in very many different ways. Archangel Michael actually came to me, and I have connected with him, and he protects me at times. Anytime that I call on him, you know, he's right there, and you don't have to belong to a particular religion in order for the angels to connect with you. And, you know, I had never thought of connecting with Archangel Michael. There was a day that I had 3 different people from 3 different areas of the world sending me messages about Archangel Michael. And it's like, okay, I got the hint. Y'all don't need to hit me on top of the head, right? So that was that was my introduction to Archangel Michael and how I began to connect with him. Now, I also channel with a being by the name of Sharon. And I don't just channel, I mean, I do automatic writing with Sharon. And Sharon is one of 12. He is actually someone that my mentor actually channels. And I was channeling with her, and I was able to connect to Sharon. And ever since that day, Sharon has just been around. And so when I'm on investigations, and I actually have goosebumps from this, but when I'm on investigations and there's something really negative there, you can always bet that I have Sharon there, and I always have Chief there, which is my Native American guide. So they are always there protecting me, and they, I do have certain signs that they're around. You know, it's just my head will get really heavy when Sharon's around, almost as if I can't hold my head up. And so I know he's around. Now, as I mentioned, I have another guide by the name of Chief, and he is a Native American. And he's actually the very first guide that I connected to. And it actually was between the first investigation, the second investigation that I had done at the old hospital. There was a time when I would hear, and I still hear the drumming, but it's not as frequent, which is good because he already has my attention. But there was a time when I would hear Native American drumming, and I would know that someone's going to pass away. And I would hear this a lot. It was very frequent. And my husband and I were doing an online talk show at the time, and we were doing a show with Dana Shino, and she's a psychic. And so my husband asked him, you know, or asked her, told her what was going on, and she said, "That's your spirit guide." And what I didn't know is he had also sent an email to someone earlier before we had come to do the video or the interview, asking the same question. to a very good friend of ours who is also a psychic. And after finishing that interview, when he read the email, it was the same response. So having never worked with spirit guides or anything, she said, have Jen call me. And so I did, and she walked me through what I needed to do in order to see if I could see this guide or connect with this guide, which I was able to. I was actually able to see him. And according to her, that it was very rare for someone to actually see their spirit guide. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm sure other people have seen their spirit guides, but for me, that was the very first one that I actually saw, and the very first one that I connected with. Now, just as I said, there are many different, we can have many different guides. Some are here with us for a long time, sometimes from birth. Some are here for only a short time to help us through whatever it happens to be that we're going through. And again, like I said, this could be a god, this could be a goddess, this could be ascended masters, it could be any number of different beings. If you're wanting to connect to your spirit guide or anything else, one of the great ways to do that is through meditation. And you can just sit in meditation and just be patient and see who comes through. You know, be very specific. Make it very well known that that's what your intentions are. Set your intention before you start to do your meditation. You know, don't second guess it. Most people, or some people, actually will second guess what they're getting and think, oh, it's just their imagination or whatever. Don't do that. Just go with it. Another thing that you can do in meditation, other than asking, you know, for your spirit guide to come through, is, again, this is in meditation, but visualize a chalkboard and see if your guide will write their name on the chalkboard or what you should call them. Now, let me explain something. Your guides don't need a name. You don't need to call them by any specific name. They really don't care. It's for the humans that need to be able to label things. We're the ones that need names for our guides. That's what that's all about. John Edward, he just calls the guys or the team. And so, because again, they don't need a name. We're the ones that need to label things and to have a name for certain things, or everything actually. So it's just for us. So if you want to do it that way, you can do it that way as well. Another thing is, like I did, you know, or what I've done before in the past, ask for them to come to you in your dreams. It's a great way to connect. It's the same way you can connect to your loved ones in your dreams. It's a great way. And your loved ones, your ancestors, can also be a spirit guide for you. Now, these spirit guides or these ancestors could be some that you know, that you've met, like my grandma and my grandpa, and my mom is still with me. My grandpa has been with me for many years. My grandmother, even though she hasn't been gone that long, she is around. She always lets me know when she's around, and whenever she's around, there's cardinals, and they're always in the tree because she loved birds too, but that's her symbol. And for my mom, it's always 1111, always. I will always see 1111. I know that's just my mom. But my grandfather, you know, he always lets me know he's around too. And the way that you know that they're around is by many different things. You may smell their cologne or their perfume. You may hear their voice or remember something they're saying to you. And I don't mean hearing their voice as in, you know, you're losing your mind. You just may remember the sound of their voice or any number of different things. And that's a good way for them to let you know that they're around. Now, when you go to work with your spirit guides, again, there's a number of different ways that they'll let you know that they're around. As far as chief, I hear drumming, I will hear flute music when there is none. I mean, I will hear different Native American sounds, and so I know that it's chief that's around. With Sharon, as I said, my head gets really heavy. And once I know Sharon is gone, I will be freezing. Like, it could be 100 degrees, and if I've been doing some automatic writing with Sharon, I'm freezing at the end. And I don't even remember what I wrote. I literally go back and look at what I wrote, because I won't have any idea. I won't have any memory of that. So, you know, there are a lot of different ways that you can connect to your spirit guides, and they can help you. They can help you with many different things in your life. Now, they can't interfere with your life. That is the one thing, you know, just like our loved ones, they can't interfere with what's going on in our life, but they can kind of point us in a direction that we need to go, or things that we need to do. You know, they may give us a heads up, hey, you need to go and have something checked out at the doctor. And that's really what they do. The same way with angels, you know, they can't interfere with our lives. They can't just suddenly, hey, no, don't do that. You can ask for them to help you and to guide you, and they will point you in the right direction. But they can't make you do something, because you have free will. So, you know, the same way, another thing with totem animals, if you're wanting to know what your totem animal is, or what your totem animals are, you know, make a list of your animals, that you're drawn to, regardless of what it is. You know, maybe you're interested in Pegasus, maybe you're interested in unicorns. Write all of that down, and then sit in meditation and visualize the kind of area that they would live in. Or visualize yourself sitting at the edge of a woods and see who comes forward. It might be the animal that you had down on your list, but then again, it may not be. It could be an insect that you didn't even have on your list that comes forward, that wants to connect with you. You know, and just roll with that. Learn about that insect, learn about that animal. What do they have to offer? What do you need to learn? That's the main thing. Same as with people or spirit guides. Some will stay, some will go. So that's really all I have for you today, and I would love to see your comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts about spirit guides and totem animals. So until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye.